It's March the 18th, 2019, and we are in the retractable cooling house in Culiacan, Mexico. And I'm going to give you a quick update on the raspberry trials we're doing this year. So this variety is Evita from Giddings, and it was transplanted on September the 30th last year. And we just had the genetics experts here today to give us a quick rundown. Unfortunately, it was all in Spanish, so I'm going to give you a short summary on what they shared. So the first thing their comment is that the fruit size is large, and the Brix was 10 to 11, and so their comment was that the fruit size was good and the taste was excellent and the size is consistent. And some of their observations were that the plant is relatively compact compared to in a tunnel. And if you can look down this line here, you can see it's like a fruiting wall. And so all the growth is happening upwards, and it's making it very easy to harvest here. The other thing that they noticed was that the fruit was occurring over a larger vertical space, more like a fruiting wall. So there's fruit at the top, fruit at the middle, and fruit down at the bottom, which is indicating a good balance between leaves and fruit. Now, there was no major issues with foliar disease or insects, and yet it is 33 degrees here right now. And when I checked the leaf temperature in direct sun earlier today, we were reaching a high of 43 degrees, which is obviously too high for the raspberries. And so that's why we're using a retractable white cooling roof. So when we started to explore how to modify this production system from a tunnel into a retractable roof, the general observations we came up with was that the baskets or the buckets should be spaced 3 to a meter. So their recommendation is to go closer than what we are right now. But the current spacing from row to row is 2.4 meters. And so we talked about two options. The first one is the two lines are essentially vertical, and so we discussed moving them apart so they're either 80 centimeters or 1 meter apart to create more of a V shape rather than a parallel vertical shape. And so by going V, they're going to get more light into the center, but then that keeps the rows farther apart. The variety expert was recommending that he thinks it would be better to keep the fruiting wall concept so that we keep the two lines vertical, but instead we reduce the space between the rows from 2.4 down to 1.8 meters. And that would result in approximately a 25% increase in plants per hectare, which will obviously get our tons per hectare up higher to help pay for the retractable roof. So we're going to be continuing this first harvest on the primocanes, and we will be doing some trials on a cutback and a partial pruning halfway up in order to see how these plants are responding to the different pruning techniques in this really hot climate. And so the intent is to be able to extend the harvest season into the summer when normally it would not be feasible to do in a conventional tunnel, and conversely be able to start earlier in the wintertime and use the heat units that are here to help get us higher yield than what can be achieved at the higher elevations. So we will do an update in approximately 4 weeks' time to see how these plants are developing.